Plaintiff Jennifer Morgan says after she had a daughter with the defendant, they decided to get married. However, 2 years into the marriage, Jennifer discovered the defendant had been cheating on her with a coworker, and he got her pregnant. And she's with the defendant in court today. She's suing her ex-husband for money he stole from her savings account. Defendant James Romero says his marriage to Jennifer was doomed from the start because she was irrational and even attacked him several times. James admits that he took money from Jennifer's account, but insists it was because she erroneously claimed their child on her taxes. He's countersuing for a marital tax debt.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, I met Mr. Romero about 11 years ago. At the time meeting Mr. Romero, he told me he was 22, and a year later I found out that he was 19 years old. So that kind of started off our relationship. I was 24, 25 at the time.
Okay.
So after getting through that obstacle, we continued to date. In February of 2003, we had a daughter together. April 2003, we decided to do the right thing and get married. After being married for a couple of years, I found out Mr. Romero had been cheating on me with a coworker and got her pregnant. So I did file for divorce, and it took us about 2.5 years to get divorced. So our divorce was final in September 30th, 2009. And on March 13th, 2010.
Let me get to him regarding some of the background, sir.
Our marriage was pretty much doomed from the beginning. A lot of irrational behavior, altercations. Miss Morgan attacked me several times. I got domestic violence cases.
Was that based on her belief that you were cheating or her suspicion that you were
This
cheating?
was prior to that. Just pretty much we couldn't get along. There was things that were happening in the household that just pretty much made it out of whack. I initiated marriage counseling. We went a couple sessions. The counselor decided we needed to work on things, and at that point, Jennifer decided to quit the counseling. I continued to go, try to make our relationship work, and it just came to a standstill, and we ended up getting divorced.
Did he initiate it?
Did he initiate the
Yes,
counseling?
ma'am.
No, he did not, sir.
You did?
I believe it was a mutual thing, but we both attended, and it still wasn't working.
No, someone has to say first, let's go to counseling.
We
You don't
talked
say
about
it
it
at the
together.
same time like, listen, try it. Let's go to counseling. Doesn't happen like that, ma'am.
No, I understand that.
So I have to believe him because you kind of dodged that question. Go ahead. So did she catch you cheating with your coworker?
No, Your Honor.
What convinces you that he did?
Well, she's right there, and they had a child when.
Okay, that could have come after you, though.
Well, he came home one day with a hickey on his neck into the garage when we had a security system in our home.
For
and
hickeys?
Right. No, I'm sorry. I didn't.
You said the security for hickeys.
Well, no. He came through the garage thinking that the door wouldn't beep, and I was in the home, and I heard the side door open because, of course, the alarm went off.
Then you saw the hickey?
Yes.
And you assumed it was her because shortly thereafter they got together?
Yes.
Okay, before you all had broken up?
Yes.
All right. Let me get to you on the stolen money you're suing for and emotional distress.
Okay. March 13th, 2010, Mr. Romero went in a Wells Fargo branch, and I have the withdrawal slip right here.
Let's see it.
Put my daughter's name on the withdrawal slip and proceeded to take out $2,000. I didn't realize his name was still on the account, that it was an account I had set up many years ago for our child. I hadn't used the account in some time. I had some fraud on my personal account, so that account got closed down, and I needed an account for my direct deposit for my payroll to go into. At that time, I used this account for my payroll to go into, and also a tax return.
Why do you think you forgot that his name was on?
Because I don't get paper statements. I actually had to order these. I do all that online statements.
You knew earlier that it was on there.
No, not for many years. The account was open like in 2003, and we didn't use the account. I didn't start using the account till I would say September of 2009.
Okay, so September 2009, you knew his name was still on.
No.
Or you had forgotten what happened in 03.
Well, I opened the account in 03.
Yeah, and he had to put his name on it.
Yes.
Okay, so you knew as of '03 that his name was on it.
Yes.
By '09, you had forgotten.
Well, I just didn't realize that the name was still on the account because when I went through our divorce decree.
So why didn't you realize? Had you forgotten?
No, because we had already separated our money, and I just didn't
So
think
either
that.
you know or you didn't know.
I didn't know.
So that means you forgot.
Yes.
Now, you're suing him because he took $2,000 off an account that his name was on while you all were divorced. And you knew the money was in there at the time of the divorce?
No, it wasn't in there. Those were my payroll checks and my tax returns. So at the time of the divorce, there was a zero balance in that account. The money that I'm complaining that he took was after the fact that our divorce was final. It was the money that I work hard for every day to pay my bills and feed my kids. Okay. That's the money he took.
So when you were, once again, you didn't know when you went to divorce court that you had this account.
I don't know why it was never brought up because I've looked at our divorce decree multiple times.
You had forgotten at that time
Yes.
to include it? Okay, so you got bad memory. That's probably why you're in this shape. Go ahead, sir.
As far as the money is involved, a part of our divorce decree, we alternate our daughter together, tax exemption years from odd to even. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt last year. She got to claim her last year. And this year when I went to go claim, the tax guy said there's a red flag that somebody's already claimed that dependent with that social number. Therefore, one day I was consolidating bills and I ran across a statement under my daughter's name of the savings account. When I tried to contact Miss Morgan about the tax issue on why she claimed her, knowing well that it was my opportunity to do so, she wouldn't answer the phone. She hung up on me. She even went to the extreme of changing her cell phone number after having the same phone number for 8 years.
That's a
so there's
lie.
no way of getting hold of her. When that occurred, I logged into that joint bank account and I seen there was money, especially a direct deposit from tax purposes of $4,500. Well, ultimately
Let me
there
see
was
your divorce judgment. Because what I'm hearing thus far is that you all failed to even list the account, that it existed.
There was no money in the account, sir, at the time that we weren't separated or anything. And I have all the bank statements from when we were together. And
I'm almost certain, I'll go and research it, I'm almost certain that during a divorce proceeding, they ask for every account because this is something that could happen. If you still have your name on the person's account who you were married to, then you can still access that person's money. So I'm going to look into that to determine whether you're entitled to this money subsequent to the divorce. Your emotional distress is for what?
I couldn't pay my bills after he took my money out of the account. That's
your counterclaim for $514 for a marital tax debt. How so?
Your Honor, in '05, we got audited by the IRS, and it's stated that we needed to pay back about $800 and...
Did you mention that in the divorce proceeding?
We got the letter from the IRS after the divorce.
All right, that was a debt that existed
Yes.
at the time of the divorce, and you all just overlooked it. So when you overlook debts during a divorce, you certainly have to amend the divorce and say, hey, we overlooked this. So go back, judge, and rule on this. I'll be back. All right, once again, ma'am, you're suing your ex-husband for $4,000, alleging he owes this money for stolen money out of an account and for emotional distress. Your counterclaim is $514 for marital tax debt. With regard to the emotional distress claim, ma'am, your allegation is that he should pay you emotional distress because you were unable to pay your bills based on him removing monies from an account. I'm not going to allow that to be considered emotional distress. Emotional distress is something that would cause extreme stress in your life and would cause some type of damage, not financial damage. The other part of your lawsuit was based on you believing that after the divorce, he took money that was your property. And the divorce decree reads that each party shall be awarded all personal property in his or her possession. After the divorce is when the property came into that account, and she is the one who put that property into the account. So you obtained her property after the divorce. So I'll grant you $2,000 with regard to the $514 you want based on a marital tax debt that you all owed at the time of your divorce but didn't know about it. You said, well, yes, sir.
It wasn't there until I got a letter early part of 2009.
The debt accumulated while you were married, right?
Yes, sir.
So if you didn't tell the judge or you didn't know it was there, then you go back to the judge and say, Judge, we forgot to list something, or we didn't know it was there, but it was. Go back to that judge and have your divorce decree amended, or at least petition to have it amended. And the judge will determine whether you should receive it. Judgment for the plaintiff, $2,000. Have a good day.
Well, hopefully we can start getting along. We have a daughter together, and you know, she's young, and we have to deal with each other for the next 13 years.
I really don't have anything to say to him.
Nor do I.